In this video, we're going to be going over 12 skate park rules that just about every skateboarder should know. Chances are, if you've been skating long enough, you've probably broken a few of these before. Some of these are pretty common sense, but for some reason, a lot of people never really pick up on them. And some of these are just rules that you kind of learn over time. If you like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And with that said, let's just get right into the video. The first and arguably the most important rule at a skate park is to not overdo it with wax. This rule really can't be stressed enough. It's probably the easiest way to get on someone's bad side, especially if you're new to a park. This doesn't mean that you can't ever wax something, but just be mellow about it. Try not to overwax anything. Always ask other people skating if it's cool if you wax something, and definitely never ever wax anything at a park that you're not skating. People tend to prefer different levels of wax, and it's really easy to overdo it, so always start small. If you wax something once and it's still pretty sticky, you can always go back and wax it again, so there's no need to go crazy on the first pass. Some people definitely take the whole no wax thing too far and love to tell people to just go faster, but let's be honest, sometimes it is needed. The key here is to just be considerate about it and don't go overboard. Number 2 on the list is to look around while you skate. This is a rule that younger kids in particular are absolutely terrible at following, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of skateboarders don't like scooter kids. When you're skating at a skate park, you need to at least be somewhat aware of your surroundings. Don't just blindly drop in or get tunnel vision at whatever it is you're skating. Even if you're well aware of what's going on around you, every now and then there's going to be someone else who isn't, and simply taking a look around as you skate through a park can help you avoid running into anyone. At some parks, it can be really hard to tell which way someone is going, especially if you don't see them until the last second. This is especially true at parks that don't really have a linear flow and get skated from every direction. Not looking around makes it pretty easy to run into someone, which really isn't fun for anyone, so just make sure you keep a heads up when you cruise around. Rule number 3 on the list is to never snake or victory lap. Not snaking is a cardinal rule in skateboarding. If you don't already know what snaking is, it's essentially just taking someone else's turn in the lineup. Sometimes snaking isn't done on purpose, but it's still just as annoying. Always pay attention to who's going next so you don't accidentally skip someone and so you know when your spot is up. If someone is taking forever to go, just ask them if it's cool for you to go, or at least check to see if they're about to drop in. Usually it's not that big of a deal. As far as victory laps go, this is when someone keeps skating around the park without stopping, which prevents everyone else from going. Sometimes groups of kids will follow each other around the park doing this, basically playing follow the leader. As fun as it might be for you, it gets in the way of just about everyone else. If you're trying a line or just cruising around the park, then that's fine, but if you find yourself on lap number 3 around the park, maybe you should stop and take a breather just in case anyone else is waiting to go. Now, I will say that if the park isn't that busy, then it's not as big of a deal, but still just keep it in mind whenever you go to a skate park. Rule number 4 is to never cause a scene. Skateboarding is all about having a good time, and no one likes when someone kills the vibe of a session. For example, don't get mad and throw your board if you can't land a trick, or yell at some kid who's gotten in your way for a dozen times. Just keep things moving so everyone can just enjoy their session. It's always weird when you're just trying to cruise around and some guy is screaming in the corner because he can't land a trick, and it honestly just makes things awkward for everyone else. Even if you're not having the best time, it's not really a reason to bum everyone else out, so try to just keep things moving. The 5th rule to keep in mind at skate parks is to not sit on anything that is skatable. Chances are, if something is skatable, then there's either someone who's trying to skate it or wants to skate it, and they can't because you're sitting on it. Just about every single skate park has a place to sit that's away from where people are skating, so unless a park is completely empty, try not to sit where people usually skate. This means ledges, rails, quarter pipes, or just about anything else that's skatable. This is mostly an issue with people who don't skate and just come to the park to watch, but everyone's guilty of doing it at one time or another. Just try not to be that person and find somewhere to sit that's out of the way. Up next on the list is number 6, don't skate flat ground in the middle of the park. A lot of people will skate flat ground in between ramps or at the bottom of bowls, which kind of gets in the way of everyone trying to skate the park. This is somewhat of a beginner move and it's almost always frowned upon. It's really annoying when you're trying to skate a park and there's some kid skating flat ground in front of a ramp. Not only is it bad skate park etiquette, but some of the older dudes might even try to make a point and run into you on purpose. Some parks have empty areas good for flat ground, usually on the outer edges, so try to stick to those places if you can. If for some reason there isn't a good spot out of the way for flat ground, it might just be best to avoid it. There are plenty of sidewalks and parking lots out there that you can go to instead. Of course, when a park is empty, this doesn't really apply, but whenever there's other people around, you should definitely try to stay out of the way. Rule number 7 is to not linger on obstacles. This can mean standing next to the ledge checking your phone, laying on the ground for a while after you fall, or just blocking something that someone is trying to skate. Even if you fell or you're just standing there trying to film your friend or have some other good reason to be lingering, at least keep an eye out for everyone else and put some effort into getting out of the way as soon as possible if you see someone coming. In general, just try to be aware of what's going on around you so you don't get in anyone's way. Number 8 is to not move anything that people are skating. Skate parks normally have things that you can move around to skate differently, like ledges, kickers, or flat bars, and it's pretty normal for people to move them around to mix things up. Like a lot of the other rules, this one just goes back to being aware of what's going on around you. If you see someone skating something that's movable, like a barrier or a cone, don't move it without asking them first, even if it looks like they're done skating it. They could easily be taking a break or trying a line, and they might even be done skating it, but it's good to ask just in case. Rule number 9, don't film people. Unless it's your friend trying a trick, don't film people at the skate park. Chances are you'll get vibed out and it can make things pretty awkward for anyone who doesn't want to be filmed. A lot of people can have a hard enough time trying to land a trick without worrying about some random person filming them. So even though it might not seem like a big deal, for some people it can really get in their head. With that said, there are some exceptions to this rule. For example, if someone is trying a trick that a lot of people are filming, maybe at a demo or a contest or something, then it's probably okay to film them. But other than that, it's better to just stick to filming your friends. While on the topic of filming, Rule 10 is to not stand in anyone's shot. It's not the biggest deal if you accidentally skate past when someone is filming, but you should at least try to avoid it. If you see someone trying a trick and their friend is filming them, maybe try to go around them or skate in between tries just out of courtesy. Everyone likes getting a clip every now and then, and you don't want to be the guy that messes it up for someone else. Anyone who's skated long enough has most likely skated in someone's frame at some point or another, so it's not the biggest deal if you do, but people will definitely appreciate it if you try your best not to. Rule number 11 is to not show someone up. If you see someone spending a long time trying a trick that you know you can do, don't go do it in their face. It's kind of a kook move and no one is going to think you're cool for doing it. At some point or another, everyone has to learn, and doing a trick in someone's face can be pretty discouraging, especially if they've been trying it for a long time. Maybe seeing someone try something reminded you of a trick that you really like to do, but any half-decent person will just hold off and wait till that person is done trying it. It's kind of just common courtesy, especially if someone is a beginner. Now, there are times when someone may want you to do the trick with them, in which case this rule doesn't really apply, but for the most part, if you see someone who's a beginner trying a trick, then just leave them be and don't show them up. Rule number 12. The last and final rule is to just bring good vibes. This can mean a lot of things, but really it's just about being positive towards everyone and having a good time. Be friendly towards people, don't leave trash laying around, sweep the park if you can, just do normal things that any considerate person would do. It doesn't matter if you're a local at the park, or if you're better than most of the people there, or if you were having a bad day before you came. Once you get to the park, it should be all about having a good time skateboarding. That just about does it for this video. Those are 12 rules you should always follow at the skate park. If you like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications. And thanks for watching.